you guys, welcome back to the channel. So now we'll be building this chat app using Firebase. So we'll be using 3 ways. You can just go ahead and clone this repo, which I'll be using this branch, sign up, for just logging into this Firebase. Otherwise, I've linked this initial setup and this Firebase starter setup. So the next layout is this deactivate Firebase starter, which has been provided by this invertase, which is a particularly good layout, but it has linked all of this and we may not be requiring all of them. So I'll be using this starter kit, which they have provided in their website right here, and I'll be using for Android particularly. And for login, I'll be using my this RN login register screen, which I'll be using right here. So let's get started. So now we'll be having a question as why I have used this invertase. Now, as you can see in their GitHub page, they have set up this documentation where they have support for furthermore for this phone authentication and multiple apps, which may or may not be working with this FCM. So we'll be using this particular package. So let's get started. So first, install this npm install -shave, or you can follow this guide right here. So as it's installing, we need to link it, and then the stack navigator has already been done in this particular RN sign up screen. So we need to put this spinner 2, which I believe you can be doing it yourself. So I'll just be showing you this Firebase. So we need to put this. Now, as the site says, we need to get this Google services registration. So just go ahead in your Firebase, create an account, and then create this application, or you can just go ahead and add this application for Android. You can name it whatever you want. And then just download this Google service registration, and then just put it inside this directory for Android app, and then put this Google service registration. Now inside this build.gradle, we need to add this GMS Google services. So just go ahead into this Android build.gradle class path, and we'll be pasting this GMS, and then in Android app build.gradle, put this in the bottom as shown here. So in bottom, Control V, and then we need to add this Firebase modules. So in Android app build.gradle, we need to check for this, and in dependencies, it is here. We need to add these 2 components, copy them, and just paste it inside here like this. And then we need to make some changes inside this Android build.gradle. So in Android build.gradle, we need to add this Maven. Now we didn't have to put this Maven inside here, but now for sign up screen, we need some small changes. So we need to put this auth in Android app build.gradle. So in Android app build.gradle, paste it auth, and this has already been done. This is done. This is done. And now in this main application.java, which is in this Java main application.java, we need to put this packages. So this is already been done, and just copy this, paste it, and paste this too. So now the setup has been done, and we'll be moving to making the UI. Now we need to import this status bar, spinner, and Firebase. You actually don't need status bar because we are just doing it for our UI, which we'll be using to just color the status bar like this color, background color. So just go ahead and import this. Now, as you can see, when we are in this on login press, we need to make some few changes so that we are logged in inside the Firebase. So just go into the definition, and in the definition, we'll be putting this. And changing it. Now let me explain it. So Firebase will authenticate and check for sign in with email and password. So this will only use for login, and this tested.email will cache the email, and this tested password will cache the password. And if it is cached, then it will set the state of error as null and loading false. Maybe we haven't imported it, or maybe defined it. Yep, we need to define them. And if it catches any error, it will set the state of error as authentication failed and loading is false. So this loading false isn't required, but as we are using is this spinner, so it is a very good practice. So let me just check for the spinner, which is right here. So copy them, and we also have this text. So copy this and copy this. So this text will be using this state.error, and it will catch this or either this. So it will either be blank or authentication fail, and spinner will only be working if this state.loading is true, whereas it is defined as false. And right here, now as the login has been done, we need to authenticate it. So we can define it like this over in component mount. So let me just copy it and paste it right here and explain it to you. Sorry. Here Firebase will authenticate it, and on authentication state change, so it will check if your authentication state has been changed, which will be getting it from here. And on if the user has been catched, it will navigate to boiler and set the state as false, so that spinner will stop working and will navigate it to boiler. Now let's look for register. So in register 2 we need to import them, and then we'll be using this errors and loading false again. I don't think I need to explain it to you again. And then this on register press is same as on login press. So here we'll be defining this, which doesn't have much changes, but only some smaller changes, which is in this create user with email password, whereas in login it was sign in with email and password, where this will only sign in it, and this register will catch this email and password and then create the user inside that Firebase. And this is same. So Let me just put it in render. So spinner and text will be getting it, and then we need to authenticate it. So just copy this right here, so that on auth state change it will navigate to boiler. Now our main work has been done, but what if the user uses your app again? Does he have to log in or create the particular user again, or you would want to auto login? So we'll be doing it next. So now in app.js you need to import this. Now we won't be using the spinner right here because we don't want the user to be shown the spinner when the user is logging in. So just import this Firebase and then check for this authentication and loading. I think I haven't defined it as a whole for constructor, so let me just define it right here. So it will check if the page is in connection and this loading and authentication is true and false at initially, and then so in render we are already navigating to login, but we don't want to navigate to login always. So just copy this to here where this state of loading is returns null. So it returns null, but you can put this loading splash screen for the initial. So then it will check if this stated loading, this stated authenticated is false or true, which we are yet to define. So we'll be putting this constructor component mount right here where I'll explain. So it will check when this app.js is checked for auth and on auth state change, which is same as for login and register. And if it catches a user, then it will set this loading false and authenticated true. Otherwise, it will set this loading false and authenticated false. So, so if loading false, which it will only for this loading, which is null, and if authenticated true, that means there is already a user which has already previously logged in. So it will not check for this authenticated. So it will be for, as it is false, then it will go into this spoiler. Otherwise, it will check if this is true and will navigate to login. So let me just explain you from this flowchart. So it will put up this app.js and it will check for this on auth state change, which is right here on auth state change. And if it catches a user, then it will set this authenticated true, otherwise authenticated false. And now, as this the stated loading is returning is null only in the case that loading is loading is true, but it will just go into this on auth change and change it to false, so that we can go into this state authenticated, and it will show this splash screen. Otherwise, it will check if this authenticated or not, and if yes, it will go into this spoiler, which is our final destination. But if it hasn't been logged in, then it will go into this login, and again check for this on auth state change like this for air, which I have defined it here. And then there are 3 screens as previous. So on login press is our main, which is defined here, and it will check if they sign in with email and password, and set this error is null and then loading is false, and then go into this on a state change and navigate to boiler. Otherwise, it will generate this error and show this error, and again wait for the user to log in. If we press sign up, this has to be defined as forget password, which I'll be doing it later. So if you go into this sign up, it will go into this on auth state change, similarly as login on a state change. And as this hasn't been defined, if only in the case that this hasn't been clicked on register press, and then it will go into this create user with email ID similar to login, but it will log in, it will sign in, but this will create the user, and then it will change this authenticated if error is catched, otherwise it will null this error and loading to false, and then if error has been caught, it will show that error and wait for the user to again register, otherwise it will go into similar phase as on login phase, and then navigate to boiler. We are yet to define this forget password, which I'll be defining in the next video. So that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.
Survive.